Welcome to DMOT Garage. We are back on the 54 barn door single cab. Let's have a look-see. And last week's episode, you did see me play around with the roof and get that all pretty much finished. We're on to safari mounting today. So you can see here, I've already gone and put the little studs through, and there's a little bit of adjustment that still has to be done, but you can see how the factory ways of doing the screws were. And all we're doing now is just welding on the brackets. So we've got this little center bracket that has to go there. I've already tacked that one on that side, and you can see how the mechanism works here. If we have a look at it, you can see how that rises up and down. I've just tacked that for now, just here, just there. And I'm going to come back and TIG these just to make them look like a nice pretty weld, but MIG tacked it for now just so I can get them in place. And yeah, we'll get those mounted, well, just the 3 mounts. Then we can take the safaris away. They won't get remounted until the bus is pretty much finished. So at least that bit's done, and then we can continue on. We've got a little bit of cleaning up still to do inside here. There's a little gap up in the corner up there I've got to weld up, and a couple little dodgy sections. The outside here needs to be tigged up. Little bits and pieces basically just in here, and then we're going to move on to the rear, which is going to be exciting. So we've got to do some cleaning up. So I'm going to pack everything up here, take the floors off, wheel this out. We're going to sweep the floor in here and just get this place a little bit better, and then we can continue on. Oh, actually the other thing I've got to do is strip the door too. So that door there needs to be stripped. I've got to get all the paint off it, so another job. All right, let's continue. Okay, one of the next things we're going to do is strip the paint off this door. This is one of the old doors that were on it. I think it's a 56 or 57 door because yeah, we talked about the handle pressing not being the right one, but we'll modify it. There is a little bit of rust down in the corner we'll have to take care of, but yeah, let's just get the ceramic coral wheel and strip this paint off it. Okay, that is done. We'll go around the edges in a second, but you can see these wheels, these ceramic poly discs, they do an amazing job. Anyway, keep going. So one of the next things we're doing after we've stripped the door, you can see I've put a bit of phosphoric acid on it. We need to modify these handle spots to make it look more like the barn door style. So what I've done over here is we've made a mould. I'll show you what I've done. Haven't used it yet. There's the bit of metal we're going to try to press. There's the positive and negative of the master. And there is a piece over here which is the original. There it is. So here's the original piece, which we will graft this one probably into that door. But what we've done is modified it a little bit This is just Fibrol Light, which is that fiberglass filler. So I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to find out. We're going to chuck it in the press and see if we can make this pressing. We don't need that part. We only need just this section here, okay? So we're going to see if we can press it into there. Now, I've actually got some locating pins just to hold it all in position. So let's take it over to the press and see what happens. Let's see how we go. Pressing, I don't know. Like I said, this is just an experiment, so we won't know. If it's going to work or not. Oops, it's done something. There's some distortion going on there. And I would say that would be a fail. It kind of did it, but not enough. So we need more force. Okay. Let's try putting it back in and see if we can squash it a bit further. Sort of worked. Maybe we try doing it this way. Maybe it needs a larger press on top of it. Actually, let's try doing this instead. That might be better. I don't know. Worth a try. Might need sort of multiple presses. I don't know. Let's try going a bit further. Probably need a bigger plate on top of that, I think. Let's see what we've got here. Right, so that's it out of the mould. I mean, it's not bad. I don't know. It's not quite defined around the edges enough. And that's the original one, you can see. Maybe I can save it. I don't know. I mean, it's really just the pressing we need. Unless I can sort of get it in there and just try to define these edges a little bit more. It's the right height, but yeah, the edges just probably needs more force, I think, to get it to work. I mean, the mould, it hasn't distorted, so I don't know, maybe I'll just put it back in there again. Oh, we'll see how we go. We've got to continue. I want to start to get this thing ready for paint, just to get the chassis all painted up underneath. So there's a couple of tabs I've got to weld on the rods that are running front to back that the cables run through. So I've got to get those little tabs welded in. And then we might just start doing some cleaning and continue from there. Let's go. Okay, so I didn't want to bore you, but we did have some rust repairs to do on this door, and it was basically just this section here and a little bit in the corner just there. So I got that done off camera. The next thing we're going to do now with this door is change the section over. Now I did play around with that a bit more and I got it looking good. So we saved it. We're basically going to cut that into, we're going to be basically chopping it in like that. So we'll use a bit of this real estate and basically lop it in. All the mechanism is going to stay the same. I'm not changing any of that. It's literally just changing that out to make it look like the barn door one. So let's cut this out and see how we go. We're just going to work out. Sure, nice, and we're just going to basically take out right on the lip there, eh? Now, probably going to have to take more than that out, aren't we? No, we're not. Okay, let's chop this out with the grinder. Couple of spot welds. Just had that little bracing piece behind it, but that's not going to cause us any grief. We do want to keep that though. That can probably come out. Let's get the piece now. We're going to have to scribe it and make sure we're putting it in the right location. All right, this is going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky because we need to find the middle, which is there and there. We need to find the middle of this, which is 15, and that is 9, so 4.5. That just gives us a centre. Chop the excess off just so it's out of the way, then we can manipulate it and get it exactly where we want it. choppy choppy. Quick little hack, if you don't want to keep wearing out your grinding disc, score it and then just bend it back and forth until it snaps. It's a cheap way where you don't have to sit there and use up your blade. I'll probably use that for something. I don't know. I hate throwing things away, and it's kind of cool. I don't know. We'll do something with that. Now, we've got to get this a little bit straighter. So I'll just fandangle it and I'll bring you back in. Okay, so we've got our hole trimmed a little bit better. And you can see here I've just put a bit of primer on the back side of it. And you can see now, it's got a bit of a gap, but that's okay because we're just going to MIG it in to start with. That's looking good right there. So let me grab the welder quickly and we'll just put a tack in it. Just want to put one in this corner. Okay, and then now we're going to have to use screwdrivers just to get the rest of it in position. I'll get my fine little screwdriver. So I just use that just to come inside here and prop it up. Turn the amps up a bit. So now I'll go and get my wet rag, cool it down with the wet rag, because we don't want too much heat, even with the MIG. Cool it down. All right, we'll keep going with this one. Okay, so I'll just go re-wet the rag again. We'll grind this back and then fill in whatever spots we've got and we can call it good. And there we have it, guys. This one is mounted. And you can see we've got our nice little pattern in the back there. And we need to now move on to the other side because this one here is going to have to be welded in. So we've got that section there. And we do need to use this entire thing on this side because you can see here this has been recessed in, so we can't use that. It's interesting that they've gone and made this a two-part. They obviously couldn't press that in, the door pressing at the same time. So you can see if you look on the inside, it actually has been welded in, which is very interesting. So anyway, we're going to cut this out and get this part welded in. So let's get onto it. Righto, we are onto this door and you can see I've basically chopped out that piece off the beetle. We are just tacking it in. We did have to make sure that all the holes here line up and also the striker plate's going to line up. That's all pretty good. But yeah, obviously you can see now I've got to use my screwdriver here to actually pull the panel out and weld it all the way around. So yeah, let's get that all done and keep going. So we've just got to recut this section here because it's actually really tight and then you'll end up with buckles. So I'll go and put a really thin metal cut-off disc on and just re-lock it again. And there we have it, one door finished. I haven't put the striker plate in so it won't actually lock, but that's what it's going to look like. A little bit of metal finishing just around there, but we'll do that once we get some primer on it. Done. One more job ticked off. Next thing we've got to do is we've got to make some brackets to stand off the handbrake tubes, which they're going to live right about just here. There's a little bracket that I've got to make on both sides. So we'll quickly knock them up out of 1.5mm plate and get those welded in. And then we've got a couple of strategic tacks just to place on these pipes. And then once that's done, then the chassis is ready for paint underneath anyway, or this section. So yeah, man, it is a hot day out there now. It's 31 degrees in here, Celsius, and it's climbing. So I'm trying to get as much welding done before it gets too hot. Anyway, yeah, this one's done too. So yeah, we're getting there. We're progressing along. Let's keep moving. Okay, fellas, because it is such a beautiful day, we are going to get the top part of the chassis there painted in the factory grey colour. Just so that I can weld the floors on and not have to worry about finding out the hard way how to paint it later on. So yeah, let's get some paint on it. All right, that'll pretty much do it for today. And I just wanted to get a little bit on top here so we can get that sorted, and the rest we can do later. I mean, this is going to go on the rotisserie after it's off the table anyway, so I'll be flipping it on its side. But, you know, as you know, you can't get to these surfaces here when you've got the floor on. So anyway, that'll do. I'm going to wheel it in, and I am going for a surf because I think it's looking good. I'll see you guys in another episode. Cheers for the new subscribers, and we'll see you again soon.